thought that BI was the latest hype? Well, it was. Emphasis on the past tense. What is BI though? BI, as defined by Gartner, is an umbrella term that includes the applications, infrastructure and tools and best practices that enable access to and analysis of information in order to optimize and improve decisions and performance. Quite a mouthful. In fact, BI in general is a good idea. Let's say you want to enable effective BI in your company. You're going to be looking for a tool to support that venture. Looking at the market leaders, you decide on Tableau. And I commend you for that choice. I personally have a passion for Tableau that allows me to excel in my job and that surpasses my insecurity at standing in front of a rather large crowd and talking to them as I'm doing right now. But back to BI. Business intelligence, as the Gartner definition says, includes best practices. Tableau as a self-service tool can enable effective self-service BI in your company. That is true. What is also true is the following. Best practice will only get you as far as those who have come before you. Stepping into the footsteps of the most successful, the biggest players on the market may be a big step for you, but you're still only among the best. You are not the best. Yet. There is no lasting advantage in being as good as your competitors. If you are not prepared to be better than the competition, you might as well just begin digging your grave now. Don't satisfy yourself with stealing like an artist. Become an artist and create your own masterpieces. Have your own ideas and implement them. The time for best practice is over. The time for best thinking has come. So let's say you roll out Tableau in your company. Big scale. Every report you create from now on has to be Tableau because Tableau is the best the market has to offer. And it truly is. So if you want to become better, you have to use Tableau. Soon you have your employees struggling to translate their Excel reports into Tableau dashboards. And you can hear your shovel digging into the hard earth, breaking up the ground underneath your feet. Congratulations, you have just become a grave digger. BI is dead. And so is your business. Implementing Tableau may be a great idea, but if you're not prepared to do something new with it, you're still digging the same old grave with a fancier shovel. If you continue to create the very same report in Tableau as you used to do in Excel, I have bad news for you. You just wasted your money on a new software. What's far worse though, you took all that potential that you bought with a great tool such as Tableau and threw it out the window. You pushed it into that grave you've been digging for yourselves and jumped in right behind it. Tableau has an amazing number of strengths, so why don't you use them? Be prepared to not only buy a fancy new pair of racing shoes, but to actually put them on and start running. Best thinking doesn't mean rewrapping your old ideas in a new software, but to be brave and treat new paths. Let's assume you've been thinking hard. You've come up with a number of great ideas and you're eager to implement them. Beware of the old adage, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Harry Warner of Warner Brothers said, like in 1925 when silent pictures were still en vogue, who the hell wants to hear actors talk? Do not make the same mistake. Warner Brothers fortunately managed to overcome Harry's hubris as displayed in that quote, so you take very good care to avoid the same short-sightedness. The biggest mistake you can make is assuming that the customer will always want the same thing. Many of you may have heard of the Kano model. What used to excite customers yesterday has declined to a mere wanting today and will already be a must-have factor tomorrow. Customer satisfaction declines over time as you need more and more features and functionalities in order to excite your customers. Jeff Bezos, founder and CEO of Amazon, put it very accurately in the following quote: "Customers are always wonderfully, beautifully dissatisfied, even when they report being happy and business is great. Even when they don't know it yet, customers want something better." Do not continue to offer your customers the same product or service you have always offered them. Do not be so arrogant as to assume that it will always be enough. Customer satisfaction will lead to boredom and subsequently dissatisfaction in the blink of an eye. Be prepared for a stare-off. If you blink, you are dead. How fortunate that you already have your shovel in hand. You need to go beyond what the customers thought they needed. We no longer have the luxury of long product life cycles. Customer needs change fast, so your research and development cycles must be faster. You will need to work on your process optimization as well. A study showed that 52% of businesses say that shorter development times are key drivers for process optimization. Sounds reasonable so far. However, you mustn't forget who you are developing for. You can develop as fast as you want, but if your customers don't appreciate what you're offering them, you've just dug your grave a lot deeper. And that same study, only 48% of businesses, less than half, cited more customer-specific products as a major driver. But as Bezos put it, your desire to delight customers will drive you to invent on their behalf. History is dead, and convention is history. Conventional BI is used to and made for long product life cycles. Conventionally, business intelligence goes something like this. You take your internal data, aggregate it, calculate a chosen number of KPIs on top of that aggregated data, wrap those KPIs in a standardized report, send that report off to a small cycle of decision makers, and those use this report to steer the business. Let me tell you now, conventional BI is no longer practical. We live in a VUCA world. And what's worse, we die in a VUCA world. VUCA is the buzzword du jour. Volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. This is the world we live in today. Customer needs change rapidly. Company image has never been more important. Customizations are the norm, and standard products are as good as dead. And so are you. If you cling to your old-fashioned ideas of business intelligence, the time for standardized reports alone is over. The time for small report audiences is over. The time for limited insights is over. You are facing the challenge of recognizing market changes early on and reacting, and especially acting accordingly. Do not limit your farsightedness and walk blindfolded into a wall, or off the cliff, or into your freshly dug grave. You need to go, If you want to survive in the long term, you need to make customer needs your number one priority. But how can you find out what your customers actually need? Henry Ford once said, "If I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses." We've already established that customers have actually no idea what they really want, yet they will always want something better than they already have. That is why customer surveys will get you only so far. Do you remember the time when phones were growing more and more buttons? Every new generation of mobile phones would have more buttons to press. At the time, that appeared to be the ideal solution because with the growing number of functionalities that phones provided, such as writing emails, more and more buttons were needed in order to use those functionalities. And soon we had ended up with phones that were more keyboards than screen. That is, until Steve Jobs came around. Back in 2007, the mere idea of a touchscreen blew people's minds. Yet nowadays we scoff at everybody who's still using a phone with physical buttons. Steve Jobs didn't ask his customers what they wanted. They wouldn't have been able to tell him anyway. As you can see, asking your consumers what they want will yield rather limited success. Instead, you should open up your approach to business intelligence. Convention won't get you anywhere, so be brave and try a new path. Go beyond convention. Let's say you used to limit yourself to internal data sources alone. Well, then use external data sources as well. Netflix, for example, analyzes piracy website usage to find out which series are most popular. Public transportation companies track mobile phone traffic to find demographic hotspots and then plan their schedules accordingly. Retailers track the customers' paths through the store to find out how to best use the sales area. Anything goes, from benchmarking data to weather data, from social media text mining to crawling the web pages of cheap knockoff products. Such external data will probably have a different structure from your internal data. It may even be completely unstructured. Enable agility. Adapt your data architecture and your analytics process. The skill sets necessary today have changed as well. Where an extensive background in IT and statistics used to be required, other skills now take the pole position. Creativity, curiosity, and an innate desire to ask questions and find answers are of the utmost value in modern BI. In a time of constant change, you can't rely on past experiences alone anymore. What was the rule yesterday will already be history today. So do not limit your report audience to experienced business executives alone anymore. Your company is brimming with innovation, so use all your employees' creativity, ideas, and insights and allow them to explore the data themselves. Where you used to have an analytics department, you need to find your way to an overarching analytics culture. Enable advanced analytics. Choose a number of tools to help with the analytics process and create a platform for your colleagues to collaborate and contribute to. Boost your company's data literacy. Enable a constructive error culture. Only those brave enough to experiment can err, and only those who err can improve. So embrace errors, learn from them, and become a better company for it. Now, all this goes to say that you do still need your IT department and you can still benefit from a dedicated BI department. But where those teams used to work as lone wolves and used to have all the privilege to access data, they now need to become enablers of colleagues across all departments. They need to coordinate and empower analytics efforts in your company. Think of it like this. Why would you want to have a single data rockstar when you can have a whole symphonic data orchestra? Now, I want you to spit on that grave you've been digging for yourselves. Don't give in to the VUCA world. Rule the VUCA world. Where you find volatility, create your vision. Broaden your horizon and explore external data sources and allow colleagues across all departments to offer their insights. Where you encounter uncertainty, offer your understanding. explore your customers' needs and develop what they want before they can articulate any lack of comfort. Where issues are complex, allow clarity to guide your company's roadmap. And where everything the world is throwing at you is ambiguous, use your newly found agility to navigate those modern challenges. It is always day one. That's what Jeff Bezos said 2 years ago. Day one is vitality. What follows is day two, stasis, followed by irrelevance, followed by excruciating, painful decline, followed by death. Day two is what you dig your grave for. Day two is digging your grave, jumping right in, grabbing for the earth to bury yourself in and listening to your own breath stopping as you suffocate. Day two can go on for a couple of years, but once the morning of day two has broken, the death of your company is decided, unmovable, inevitable. The question is, how do you keep the vitality of day one alive? How do you live to die another day? If you've been listening to me closely, you already know the answer. Customer focus. If I asked any of you here in this audience, every single person would probably and hopefully tell me, yes, of course I'm focusing on the customer. But the truth is, it's not me who needs to ask that question. It's you. Every single one of you, every single employee from dishwasher to CEO needs to constantly question whether what they are doing is serving the customer. Truly serving the customer. This is no time for half-assed attempts at some almost innovation to offer your customers in order to placate them. This is 2019. You need to obsess over what your customers need if you want to make it in this world. And not just make it, rule this world. Enable questioning, constantly monitor customer behavior to see changes, and constantly question your answer to customer needs. If you enable questioning, you will empower innovation. Now, it's time to step out of that grave you've been digging for yourselves. Bury your conventional approach to business intelligence in that grave and close it up. Dance on that grave to celebrate the birth of something better, something more modern. An overarching, open-minded, data-driven analytics culture. Look into the future and make this your anthem. BI is dead. Long live BI.